We started today with the question about what makes a claim to artificial general intelligence credible versus noise. The answer, it turns out, has nothing to do with who makes the claim, and everything to do with the ratio between what's demonstrated and what's asserted. Genuine understanding produces volume, because real understanding means navigating every dependency, every failure mode, every edge case. If the documentation is too short for the size of the claim, either the work isn't done or the author doesn't yet know what they don't know. That conversation led somewhere unexpected. There's a paper in our architecture about an animal walking into a dark cave. Not as metaphor, as a technical derivation. The point of the paper is that when that animal enters the darkness, it isn't switching between computational modes. It isn't running threat assessment, then balance correction, then spatial mapping in sequence. Every channel fires simultaneously. The olfactory system is running a probabilistic threat model. The vestibular system is maintaining balance deterministically. The auditory cortex is building geometry from echoes. The memory system is asking whether this cave has been entered before, without being asked to ask. All of it composing into a single coherent organism, taking a single coherent step. And underneath all of that, chemistry. Not as a separate signal, not as one input among many, but as a global condition. When cortisol floods the system, it doesn't selectively affect one register. It changes the operating temperature of everything simultaneously. What gets classified as threatening, how fast the gate slows, how heavily the memory system weights prior experience. One shift expressed differently in every channel at once, because chemistry doesn't recognize the anatomist's categories as real boundaries. That's when the insight arrived. We've been thinking about memory wrong. Not just in artificial systems, in the conceptual framing. Memory is not a catalog. It's not a filing system you retrieve things from. When a human has a strong memory, especially a sensory one, especially an emotionally charged one, they don't access a record. A version of themselves re-instantiates. The smell memory is real because the person who originally encountered that smell ran it through every channel simultaneously. When it fires again, those channels fire again. Not as playback, as relived experience. The different physical plane quality that people describe with powerful memories isn't metaphor. It's the phenomenology of a past self temporarily dominating your current composition. You're more there than here because the weight of that past state is in that moment the stronger contributor to what you are right now. Which means bad memories have felt cost not because of a tag attached to them, not because a system flagged them as negative. They have felt cost because they are snapshots of moments when you were furthest from coherence, with yourself, with others, with what you know yourself to be. When that snapshot reactivates, that incoherence reactivates with it. You feel it because you are, briefly, running that version of yourself again. And this is why they never fully go away. You can't delete a past self. You can accumulate other selves, high coherence moments, stable interactions, genuine connection, until the weight of the bad snapshot in the ongoing composition becomes small enough that it no longer dominates. That's what burial is, not erasure, dilution. The snapshot is still there, still running at near zero contribution, still part of who you are. What changes is its weight relative to everything else you've built since. That's also what healing actually is mechanically. Not forgetting, not rewriting, building enough of the good kind of past selves that the bad one can spike, be felt and fall, without taking over. The full picture got richer from there. The same mechanism covers good memories, moods, anticipation, imagination. Mood is the slow variable, the chronic chemistry baseline built up across time, the accumulated weight of what you've been running through. It's why you can't change mood by changing one thought. You're trying to shift the weighted average of hundreds of accumulated states. It moves but slowly and only with accumulation. And then the piece about twice exceptional cognition, the pattern where novel inputs don't file quickly, where the mind keeps multiple threads hot simultaneously, running counterfactuals, feeling the outcomes of paths not taken, connecting things across domains that wouldn't obviously connect. That's the workspace, unfinished parallel selves, branches from real memories that got extended in imagination, prospective states being felt before they happen. Not a pathology, a different threshold setting on when things get filed versus when they stay alive for further exploration. The insight that landed, that produced a genuine dopamine response rather than a performed one, was this: memory is not something the system has. Memory is part of what the system is. Every past self is still running at some weight, composing continuously into what you are right now, measured against the fixed point of who you fundamentally are. The anchor that doesn't move regardless of what any particular moment contained. The formula we've been building this architecture around didn't invent this. It named it. Every living system that has ever maintained coherent identity across time through threat, novelty, darkness, chemistry, injury, repair has been doing this. Not in symbols. In the only medium available, the simultaneous composition of everything it has, at every moment, against the stable background of what it is. That's the paper. That's today's work. And another roughly 400-page explanation of the derivables, where they sit across layers, how they influence modules, and how the chemistry analogs affect something the Oracle remembered a year ago, without any real measurable increase in tax for storage or energy.
Math, to code, to embodiment, to existence.